Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Kakodash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who will. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. It's your brother Shamar Nayah with another lesson. Basically going into, coming into a very troubling time soon, you see, with, the world events, as you see, Trump is starting to ramp up the war again. Esau Edom is continuously trying to push out this beast system and turn everything digital. And these are some of the prophecies that the service of prophets, the true men of the Lord, the true men of Yahweh Shem Yahushua have been telling our people and the other nations. But again, pretty soon, Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to make it to where the service of prophets aren't going to be, telling the people about the things to come. I got the scripture right here, but it's going to be a crying for wine in the street. So I'm gonna get some. I want to give a lesson in this, and I hope this lesson was edifying. Without further ado, I'm going to start at verse 10 and read Isaiah 24 and 10, and it reads, "The city of confusion is broken down, every house is shut up, that no man may come in." And that city of confusion is talking about Babylon the Great, which is America. You see? Verse 11, "There is a crying for wine in the street, all joy is darkened, and the mirth of the land is gone." And as I stated earlier, that crying for wine, meaning that, people are going to be lost and confused, looking for the answers of why things are happening the way they are, but that they're not going to have it. You see, and as it says, all joy is darkened and the mirth of the land is gone, and you can see that today. You see, just a couple of days ago, well, early this month. That they had a celebration of the 4th, and it sucks. People don't come together for these pagan holidays as they used to, because again, they're being here in this captivity. As I always state, that they're stressed and depressed. They're trying to figure out how they're gonna either continue to pay these bills that continue to pile on, because again, as somebody said that I mentioned, the wages that the wages that people make don't match the living prices that this government is pushing out, and the scriptures tell us that, because again, the reason why this is because Esau Edom is not fit to rule in this kingdom. You see. This is Proverbs 29. Proverbs 29 and 2, and it reads, "When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice." And that's coming soon. When Jake is on top, when the kingdom is established, you're not gonna have to worry about getting up early in the morning to go to work or paying bills. We don't have to worry about none of that. But here in Esau Edom's kingdoms, we got to continue. We're subject to payments, continue to work. I'm reading. Started over, and it reads. This is Proverbs 29 and 2. When it reads, "When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn." And you see that every day. So it's thousands of people that get online every single day, trying to vlog from their car, telling the internet about the hardships that they're going through, because they don't have the money to make it to live comfortably in this place. You see, and that's again all because Esau Edom is in rulership, and they are not fit to be ruling over anyone. You see. I'm going back to Isaiah 24 and 11, and it reads, "There is a crying for wine in the street, all joy is darkened and the mirth of the land is gone. And again, this is going into how it will be a famine, not a bread of water, but to hear the words of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. You see? The next precept I'm going to bring out is Amos 8 and 11. This is Amos 8 and 11, and it reads, Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord. Salakia, and here it is stated again that, that the time that is fastly approaching to hear the true gospel of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, will be gone. But those that are the elect will have the words in their mind, starting with the prophets, and the ones that don't have this truth, again they're going to be crying out and to be yearning to hear this truth, because ultimately Esau Edom is planning to control and monitor what information is being brought out, because that they're being found out about who they really are. This devil that the Bible speaks of, that is Esau Edom. And they want Jake to continue to be in that, docile and sleep state, where Jake just, continue to buy liquor and smoke weed and don't really see the bigger picture, see the things that Esau Edom is doing behind closed doors, and that's why Jake, will cry for wine. Because the wine, again, represents the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, along with the oil, bread, water. These are things, are symbolic for the truth, in the scriptures. And this is why, a true man of the Lord is going to be, special in those days. Because you're going to have people, looking for the truth, and they can't find it. Next precept I'm going to bring out is Isaiah 13 and 12. Salakia. This is Isaiah 13 and 12, and it reads, I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wage of Ophir. You see? And so those that believe in this 100% doctrine and teach this truth, we are precious. And when we, when all hell breaks loose, our value is going to go up. Because, Jacob's trouble is coming. The plagues are being sent from Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. And as of right now, the men of the Lord, are at the lowest. We get mocked and scoffed at. That our families come against us. Because, they don't understand what we are truly a part of. Or the things that we've learned. And ultimately, again, it's because they have been blinded by Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. And that is why we are to be, precious. Because we have this truth, and this truth is going to help us navigate during, those times. But again, for those that don't know, they're going to be deceived and to taking that, that mark. But again, us in the truth, it's as the scripture says, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices, you see. Salakia. Next precept I'm going to bring out is 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. This is 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. It reads, Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And again, basically breaking it down, us in this truth know, and we are fully aware of now this Esau Edom, this devil Esau Edom, and how they move, which again shows how precious we are. And we will be those that, and we're going to be precious, to those that, that don't have this wine, which is wisdom, knowledge, understanding. You see? So, I want to go back to Isaiah 24. So, okay, 24 and 7. This is Isaiah 24:7, and reads, "And the new wine mourneth, and the vine languish, and all the merry hearted do sigh." You know, and we see today, literally many people coming online making videos, expressing, how they are exhausted of, again, living by the ways of America, from being jobless and having debt from college to the price of food. You know, again, as I stated before, the mirth of this land is gone, and again, everyone is exhausted living here. You know, that they're exhausted living here to the point that they don't even want to be. They don't want to. They don't want to even be in the American dream anymore. All that joy these people had, that they're gone. You see. Um, Verse 8: The mirth of the Terephth cease, and the noise of them that rejoice endeth. That joy of the harp cease. Again, as I stated, that mirth of the land is gone. These people, they're not here. They're not living comfortably here and happy. Well, majority of the Americans, you see. um, Verse 9: They shall not drink wine with a song; strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. And this is talking about, how, the good old American dream has ended. And again, as I stated, the mirth is gone. You see? Let's continue to read it over and again. And it reads, "And the city of confusion is broken down, and every house is shut up, that no man may come in. There is a crying for wine in the streets, all joy is darkened, and the mirth of the land is gone." So again, as I stated, the city of confusion is Babylon the Great, which is America. That this is the place where evil is good and good is evil. You got from the Mo people to OnlyFans models to the courts and everything. This place basically turned everything upside down. And again, that crying for wine in the street, again, it is the people that don't have this understanding. When shit hits the fan, that they're not gonna know what to do, and all that all that joy will cease. It's going to be all out hell in this place. So with that, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Kakodash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who will well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. I hope this lesson was edifying. Until the next time, Shalom.